eventually I'll get their way. They're going in and fix the ends, and they got pretty good info. And do all their budget classics and everything like that.
Yeah. Maybe he's not involved this year, he has been.
And Brent, do you want me to mute?
Or associated involved in this
What's that? Do you want me to mute?
one. When is the PBA?
31st January.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming and joining us here at Spitz Stadium to talk about the celebration of baseball banquet and the PBA Hall of Fame inductions 2026 class. First off, we'll go to Kevin Kavami, president of Under the Lights Sports Entertainment, to talk about the new and improved banquet that we have going on this year for the celebration of baseball on January 31st, 2026.
Thanks, Brent. Yeah, it's great to be here, and would like to proudly announce that the Prairie Baseball Academy, in association with our other baseball organizations in the city of Lethbridge and beyond, are going to be hosting the celebration of Lethbridge baseball and area banquet on January 31st at the Sandman Signature Hotel in Lethbridge, starting at 5:30 p.m. It's going to honor a lot of special contributors to the baseball landscape, from players to volunteers to umpires to Hall of Fame people that have left the city that are being inducted in honor of the PBA Hall of Fame that's now in its 7th year. So this year's celebration will spotlight an exceptional class for PBA and also honor some other baseball people and players in the city. So it's going to be a great evening, and tickets will be on sale right away here.
Thanks, Kevin. Head coach of PBA, Todd Hubka, joined us. Todd, when you guys go through, you're sitting with the alumni board. What are the qualifications per se when you decide to see who goes into the Hall of Fame? You were inducted last year, so you weren't part of that selection process. But what's the selection process that happens when you guys sit down and decide who goes into the Prairie Baseball Academy Hall of Fame?
Yeah, there's 3 different categories, and one is your days of the playing days of playing at PBA and moving on to other institutions. The other one is the builder category, and the other one is just career choice after Prairie Baseball Academy and we've had a lot of successful kids move on after their baseball careers were over and have become important citizens in their communities and have built great businesses and worked for some pretty big companies and also building great families too.
It's very important to it's more than just baseball at the Prairie Baseball Academy, and that's you guys build a pretty good program, a really good program going there. I kind of undersold it there a little bit. There's one man that's here live, but the other guys are going to be joining us virtually. They were part of a special group that ended up down south. You guys will talk with them, but they talk a little bit about baseball. Like, I want to hear from them a little bit later on too. But they went to Mount Olive, had a very successful time down there, and won themselves a Division II World Series.
Yeah, the three guys going into the Hall of Fame this year ended up winning a Division II World Series with Mount Olive. That's David Cooper, Mike Kissia, and Dylan Holton. All 3 were big impacts of why they won the World Series. And, it so happens a couple years ago, we inducted the head coach of Mount Olive into our Hall of Fame, who's also an alumni, who's hopefully joining us today too on this.
Before we sat down, I saw Mr. Watt's head on the screen there, so we'll get him on. You guys can talk to him, ask him some questions, how they're doing, and we'll introduce the other 3 Prairie Baseball Academy 2026 Hall of Famers. Just start popping them up there and go from there. They'll say hello, hopefully.
Do I got to move to that or to just stay where I'm at? Okay. Hey, how are you?
Who are you talking to? Can you hear me?
Which one are you speaking to?
Test.
Test.
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Try that.
Test.
Hello.
This is embarrassing. It works on all.
Are they on mute?
I can hear you, Hub.
Is our audio going out?
Yeah, we can hear you. Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear everything.
They can hear us.
Coop, you need me to send you a hat?
Questions here.
Oh,
They have a mute button
man.
on their end.
Yeah, I hear you, brother.
Do I just jump to live?
I'm sorry, guys.
Well, we're working that out. Should we bring Randy out here and introduce? Randy, you get to sit in the middle here. So our other induction
That's great. We get to
is,
fire questions at Mr. Ruff.
is under the builder category. And, you know, what a great honor it is to put Mr. Ruff into our Hall of Fame. He was a longtime board member with the Prairie Baseball Academy, but just not the Prairie Baseball for what he's done with baseball in this community through Little League and the American Legion program. He's done a great job throughout his time with the baseball world, and just found out today, happy retirement, Randy, here in 2026. So congrats
Coach.
for that. And yeah, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, it's an extreme pleasure to be here, and was really humbled when I got the news at the golf tournament, which I was unable to make, and got a couple calls from some of the alumni guys, which was very nice of them to call, and certainly was humbled when I got the news.
What do you find so special about Lethbridge baseball over the years, Randy?
Well, I think in sports in general, just not baseball, but certainly baseball, going back to our family, was one of our first loves. And having a son involved in baseball draws you to that. Obviously, our family history is sports related to begin with, so it's just a natural tie-in through our upbringing. I think sports in general is a wonderful institution for all kids to be involved with, and the activity, not necessarily at the level we're talking here, but just to be involved in sports and the discipline involved, I think creates a tremendous upbringing for the kids into their adulthood.
You were instrumental in PBA and the college championship that was hosted back in the day, and actually brought Spitz Sunflower Seeds as a major partner in those early Canadian College Worlds. Or not, at that point, it was just the CCBC Championship, which has now grown to 9 teams in the conference, and now they have a Canadian College World Series that we've been proudly hosting for the last 3 years. You have to be proud of the things that you've contributed, that you've seen grown.
Well, you certainly are. You know, when you see the accomplishments of the city itself, Kevin and Todd. But more importantly, I mean, you accept awards. It's like this, being in the Hall of Fame, you accept it amongst for many other people, because it takes lots of people to put on events like this. It's certainly always have a ringleader, I guess you'd say, that coordinates it and does his or her fair share. But as you two very well know, when you're dealing with amateur sports, volunteers is huge for the success of any organization. And certainly in this city, and us three can name several people that are as equally deserving as myself, that have stepped up and helped not only Prairie baseball, but all sports in general. I do accept this on behalf of many, many people that are equally as deserving as myself.
You know, you're basically, been, I think you joined a few years after the inaugural season of Prairie Baseball, but you were in there for the early years of Prairie Baseball when, like myself, where the program was growing, and you were instrumental on where it's at today with the work that you and the old board members did back then. And what are your thoughts on where do you think the program can go from here, Randy? And it's now that you're retired, I guess we get to start bugging you maybe a little bit more and maybe get more back involved in baseball.
Well, I got a little bit to go there, Coach, but I think when you take a look and at the grassroots, and I mean, prior to you being the head coach, a lot of people deserve a lot of credit, but then you take a look at outside of here, what it's brought to other academies starting up, and the success that this organization has led to. Well, how many academies have started up. I think the benefits of these kids getting that year-round coaching to have the chance to maybe advance. And I think you said it best. It used to be just Alberta and BC, and now we have 9-10 teams called the Canadian Championship College. So it's, obviously it's grown itself throughout the years, and certainly I'm proud to be part of that. And I know my son was part of the organization for 1 year, certainly, and he's an active board member, and it's continues to grow, which is the main thing. And obviously with the Lethbridge Bulls is a nice tie into the summer too, I believe. It keeps some of the players here and keeps, this baseball community growing.
Great. We're also hosting, as an example of answering or leading in from what you just talked about, the Baseball Canada has recently announced a new national championship for academies across the country, and they're going to assemble the 16 top programs across the country in Okotoks in July. And the qualifiers, there's going to be 4 qualifiers in Canada. One of them, because of the Vauxhall Academy and the Prairie Baseball Academy and the Lethbridge Bulls, is going to be here in Lethbridge at the end of May with 16 academy teams from Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba assembling here. So it's all grown out of here.
Wow. I mean, you go back to when you started, how many academies was it?
This was it.
And for you to just say that amount of teams. So obviously this program at Lethbridge was the flagship program for Western Canada, for Alberta, Western Canada and beyond. And, I think everybody that's been involved certainly can be proud of it.
Keep talking, Ken.
But we certainly wish we could emulate you over the years and get many more Randy Ruffs in the future to be part of our baseball community. And now that you're retiring, we'll make sure we lasso you back into the program here.
Well, Kevin, that's very kind words, Kevin. But I mean, and some of these people may not know that you were recently inducted into the Lethbridge Sports Hall of Fame for all your work.
Hello.
You've had many of us to help out in this, so I thank you for having me as part of your organizations.
No, thank you. What do you have to? You now have to think about a speech for the Hall of Fame induction banquet night. So we want some very wise words that evening. We're looking forward to having you and the family attend the banquet that ever and it should be a wonderful evening, a celebration of Lethbridge baseball, and many more banquets to come in the future with many more deserving people as well. So
yeah, I certainly look forward to it, Kevin. And as you know me, I usually wing my speech, so it could be anything. So
I'm sure it'll be profound, whatever you have to say.
Well, thank you, Kevin.
All right, thanks, Randy.
Thank you.
Mike, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear everything fine.
I need help with that. We need another one, by the way. I was going to talk to you about that. Yeah. Thank you. You guys hear me?
Mike, can you hear me?
What's that?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Can hear you, Mike.
Can you guys talk if you can hear this?
Can you hear me?
We're all
Gotcha,
talking.
Dylan.
Neil Dillon.
We're chatting.
What?
What?
Can
Talk.
you hear them
I can hear you.
on the stream?
Good.
Can you hear
What
them
do
on
you-
the stream? Just not.
Yeah.
Blink twice.
Okay. All right.
What? You got a big screen TV up in the corner? What's going on
I'm
here?
looking up. Yeah, I mean, I got, I got.
All right. Now we can hear you guys.
It's luxury.
Okay, sorry, guys.
Oh yeah,
Upgrades he's got there.
The upgrades.
things have changed. Yeah, you're right.
Not coming through on the
We
headphone.
got a TV. We got rid of the tube TV last year, so now I've got
There you go. You don't have to bang the top of it for it to work.
The rabbit ears.
All right. Well, we're joined now by Dylan Holton, David Cooper, and Mike Kissia. Todd, I think you had these guys play for you. I think you were
Started
coach back then, but got to know them very well. And why don't you say hi to them and ask them what their thoughts on the Hall of Fame are?
Yeah, hey boys, thanks for joining us today. We're having a little bit of FUPA problems here, but we're figuring them out. First of all, congrats to being inducted into this year's Hall of Fame. Can't wait to see you guys here at the end of the end of January 31st. I know we also got joined by Robbie there. He jumped on too. So anyway, yeah, all three guys you guys are going into the Hall of Fame under your playing careers, but I think the neat thing about you guys is how successful you've been since leaving baseball too. And Mike spent a number of years with the New York Yankees organization as a trainer, and Dylan's traveled the world with his guitar, and now stuck in Ottawa doing a new thing with social media, and Coop's working with a large company up in Edmonton. So can't be more proud of you guys for what you've done with your playing days, but also what you've done with baseball afterwards. Awesome.
Let's just if we got Rob on right now, let's bring him in and just have him comment on the NCAA Div 2 championship that was won by Mount Olive back in the day, and what he remembers about these three Canadians that came down there to join him and the program.
Can you guys hear me good? Yeah, these guys.
I can't hear anything.
I think the biggest thing or the most impactful thing I can say is these guys were the attitude of the team that we had here. It's kind of hard to put it into words, but there's a level of toughness that's attached to these three guys that needed to be sprinkled on the rest of the roster. And I think it was very apparent on where those roots came from. I think that every player that we've ever got from PBA symbolizes, that type of player. There's just some grittiness to them. Individually, I mean, Mike Kissia was a leader from the second he got here. Probably the best teammate I've ever witnessed in our program. He was an elite defender that could play every outfield position, and he's just a guy that could elevate his teammates every opportunity that he got. Dylan Holton is enshrined. He's responsible for the greatest moment in the school's history. He hit the 3-run double that won us the national championship, and I mean, he's royalty around here. He walked into the dugout barefoot 5 years after he graduated from here, and nobody cared. So, but incredible kid. I think infectious in terms of, in a good way, just brought a different type of attitude, and he could keep the locker room light. And of course, he's an entertainer, so guys love that. And then Coop, everybody knows how I feel about Coop. He's my favorite player I've ever coached. He has set a standard for every player that I'm going to coach from here on after. So, yeah, we wouldn't have won without these three guys here. I think, one of the coolest things was the final 3 outs. Coop was our shortstop in the final 3 outs of the World Series, where we were going into the bottom of the ninth, and the first ball was hit to Coop. He got him out. It was a 6-3, and I looked at the head coach and I said, "Man, I'll take 2 more of those." And sure enough, the baseball got shined down, and we got 2 more 6-3s. So I thought it was pretty fitting that the hardest working kid I've ever coached got to collect the last 3 outs. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Waddy. Hey, I know your time's short here. If you can stay on, that's great. I thanks for giving a little bit of time here today. And anyway, I'm just going to go to the boys now. We'll start up top with Coops. And what does it mean for going into the PBA Hall of Fame, and maybe a little bit about your playing career and what you're up to now?
I mean, thanks, Jeff. Obviously, it's an honor to be inducted to the Hall of Fame at PBA. Watt touched on it. It's kind of the ground roots for where all three of us came from, where Watt came from, right? We can sit here and talk about our work ethic. It started at PBA, and then, Watt had previously took it before, we were in existence, it seems like, to go down there, and he had expectations there. And I think just with the three of us coming down there, allowed him to continue with those expectations, and I'll say from our Canada roots and the way to play baseball and playing hard and playing the right way. So I credit that obviously to a lot of my success in my career on the baseball side. And then if we want to go to, personal life, PBA, and I'll touch base on it, put a lot of emphasis on education. And, I think my parents like that because they were fronting the bill for me all the way. But I was able to gain an education, obviously, at PBA, University of Lethbridge, and then Mount Olive, and I continued on. So I think it's helped me around today, big company, water company here in Edmonton. Without the education, I played baseball for 9 years. So when you talk about working life, I didn't have one when everyone else had a career started. So by having that education they obtained, I feel like from the ground roots up here, allowed me to be successful. And, I got a wife, I got 2 kids, 9 and 8, and I couldn't ask for anything else for where I am today. And I think I can credit that back to PBA and Mount Olive and those roots of working hard. And it was an expectation. And I go back and say, expectation. I didn't think there was anything else. I didn't think there was anything less I was supposed to do on the ball field or off the ball field. So once again, I think it's a great honor to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, especially with Mike and Dylan here today.
Awesome. Let's go to the wedding singer, Mr. Holton. Same question to you.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, any requests?
No, wait till you get out here on the 31st.
Okay.
We'll have a few requests for you. So.
Sounds good. It sounds good, man. The big thing for me is, I go back and I'm hard to believe that the first year back there was 20 years ago. I'm sitting here at 38, and, I went out to Lethbridge from Nova Scotia at 18, and when you go out there, your sole focus is on baseball. You understand you're getting your education, your degree, but at that age, you're focused on the game, and what you want to hopefully do for the rest of your life is play that sport. You started when you were like 4 or 5, and I always joke with people when they found out I ended up going down to North Carolina, they're always asking like, what'd you go to school for? And I always tell them baseball. Like I went to school for baseball. It was good. Education was obviously a big part of it. I mean, if you weren't performing in the classroom, you didn't really get to get out on the field. And at the time when you're in your late teens, early 20s, you don't realize till after the fact how important both these programs actually are. Because baseball, as we all know in Canada, I think it deserves a center stage to bring more about the game. As even the Jays going as far as they did this year, it sets a standard for what Canadian baseball can be, especially when you're coming from small town. So then when you go to somewhere like Southern Alberta and get recruited down to whatever that D1, D2 school might be, D3, whatever it is, it sets a standard for the rest of the program, the rest of the guys coming up. And all we can do is kind of share our experiences, share our stories to let them know how important the program is. And when as the younger guy, the 3 who came out and watched you guys kind of pave the way, Coops and Kissia, there was kind of this safety net, knowing that these guys were doing well, doing the next big thing, and the goal was to kind of follow in their footsteps to kind of keep playing the game and get to school. So going down to Mount Olive from PBA, again, it was that safety net, knowing these guys already kind of paved the way, and it sounded like it was a great opportunity. And to this day, it's the greatest accomplishment, is going from PBA over to Mount Olive and achieving what we did down there. And to do it with these guys, I mean, shit, 20 years later, and being able to share this with everybody, like, yeah, it's an honor to be a part of it. And kind of like Coops kind of talked about there, here we are later, and started a family and got 4 kids and the wife and the work. And I honestly do think everything that I do in life now, from business to work to starting a business to working with people, the work ethic all comes from what we did on the baseball field. And I don't think what I could accomplish today in work or in whatever I do in my personal life would ever be met if I didn't have that experience on the field with all you guys. So much appreciated.
You're bringing a tear to my eye, big guy.
Yeah, man.
And hey, everybody's 24th man. Mike, same question, bud.
Yeah. It's funny when Omar called me for this thing, he's like, you're getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. And I said, for what? Because I was definitely not the guy that's on the field making all the plays and kind of doing that type of stuff. But kind of going back to kind of what Coop said, and Dylan's kind of echoed it, it's the instillment of that work ethic that started at PBA. That was kind of like Coop said, you didn't know any different. So as you kind of worked your way through PBA and going on to Mount Olive, like, you kind of just knew there was one way to do everything, and that's what we considered the right way of doing things. And I think that's, again, like Dylan kind of just said, and I'll echo it again, is I've kind of taken that with me throughout my entire career, where, again, wasn't the most talented baseball player, but hung around long enough to be a part of some really cool stuff. And professionally, I was a lot better in the weight room than I was on the field. So I took that, loved the game, obviously, and bode well, pretty well for me for the rest of my career, and got to kind of stay involved with that type of stuff for about a decade in pro ball. And to this day, I still attribute everything that I've accomplished in my career to both PBA and at Mount Olive, just instilling all that work ethic and doing things the right way. And, like, good enough isn't good enough. And that's the type of stuff that I know all 3 of us are going to be instilling on our kids. And funny enough, like, Coop and I are coaching together for U9 right now. And it's the same type of thing. Like, teach the young kids to do things the correct way. And that's the only way we know. So, like, it's an immense honor from start to finish, and just really excited to kind of get down there and see everybody and kind of celebrate this whole thing back together again.
Hey, we're just gonna a couple more questions. I know you guys are on your lunch breaks and you're busy with work and everything, so we're just gonna end it here with Mr. Kavami. Kevin's gonna ask you guys a couple questions. And hey, Coops, I don't know, maybe you should be wearing a hat when you come to the banquet too, because you're kind of blinding everybody there, bud. So holy jeez.
Oh.
Anyway, here's Kevin.
Dylan, you wearing a toque? Red toque?
Well, I got it in my
I'm
bag
gonna
there.
get out of here. I got a group to go. It's good seeing you guys. I love you.
Good to see you, Coach.
It's nice.
Thanks, Waddy.
More hair than 2 of you out here. So congratulations, well deserved. I just honestly awesome to see your faces. You guys know I love you. Good to see you, Kevin. Good luck, guys. And let's not make a special event be the reason why we catch up again. Okay.
Agreed.
Take care, boys.
Thanks, Coach.
Love you.
Thanks, Coach.
David, when you get to Lethbridge, I guess we're gonna have quite a few kids in the banquet hall that night. And what kind of message would you have about your professional career with the Arizona Diamondbacks organization and 6 years in that organization or professional baseball? You must have some stories and some how PBA and Mount Olive led you to the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to work ethic, right? Like, people see that on the field. You may not be the most talented. You don't have to be. So from PBA to Mount Olive, and then you get to professional baseball. Professional baseball is a whole different game. It's faster paced. So I think, if there's one lesson I can tell people is listen to the people around you have played. There's a lot of knowledge out there, and you may, I thought I knew a lot about the game, and I got professional baseball, and they do things different. But they have, you guys, 10, 20 years of professional baseball career in the big leagues, right? And what they tell you matters, and you sit there and you listen. You don't have to ask questions. Just kind of eavesdrop everywhere you go and get all the information. They're going to teach you a lot of things about the game and scenarios that you think you've played 2,000-3,000 games, and there's still more you can learn.
Awesome. Let's go to Mike too and ask the same question. Similar with 11 years in the Yankees organization. You met a lot of players over the years that you worked with in rehab programs and strength, ability, conditioning programs. What memory do you have, and what takeaway did you learn from the major league system that you felt was a direct result of your time with PBA in Mount Olive?
Yeah, I think I was fortunate enough to kind of see a lot of Hall of Famers at the end of the day. That kind of at the start of my career was kind of the end of theirs, and then saw a lot of the guys that are coming up now. But I would say like one commonality between those very, very good players was just consistency. And Coop can probably echo on this as far as pro ball goes. Like, you think a college schedule is busy, and you have no idea compared to once you get into pro ball, when you're playing upwards of 200 games a year, and you're practicing every day. On top of that, it's hot. It's not everybody doesn't necessarily want to be there every day. It kind of becomes a job, right? Where it's not always fun. But kind of going back to the PBA days, like, it's just the expectation, I think, that's set forth to be kind of try to be the same guy every day. And if you can do that, whether you've gone 0 for your last 10 or 5 for your last 5, if you can kind of stay consistent as you can, it's a really, really long season. And more often than not, you're going to kind of end out on the back end better than where you started if you're not kind of too many highs, too many lows. And I think we can all kind of reflect on that and kind of go back to our own careers and be like, well, if I was a little more level-headed at times, I think we could have been a little bit more consistent at times, just with letting emotions up and down, which obviously baseball is an emotional sport, but kind of touching on like where I started, the best guys in the game, the guys that are in the Hall of Fame right now that I got to work with, you could never tell. Like, they were so consistent with everything that they did, right down to basically eating the same meal at the same time before every game. It's almost like clockwork. So, and I think that's another thing that you can take into your professional career as well, right? No matter what you're doing, if you can be consistent, be the same dude every single day, you're going to end up out on the positive ends of things more often than not.
That's awesome. Dylan, so I think you're the guy that has a passion about reinventing himself over the years with different levels of things. I think the philosophy you've had in life is an amazing story in itself. Do you want to just touch on that today, and how PBA and Mount Olive led you to music? Well, you had music before you even went to PBA, but music and now your career in Ottawa and all the fun stuff you're doing there.
Yeah, definitely. As I got older and I look back on kind of the path we all take as athletes, there's a number of things we do, and it could be transition from career to career after you're finished baseball. What does that look like? For me, I felt like I never really had this transitional period of like what to do next, because when baseball finished for me, I was already heavily involved with like picking up a guitar and wanting to entertain and perform. And when I did that full time for over 10 years, I all of a sudden came to Ottawa and had another pivot where I started an agency here, and it took off rather quickly. And I still kept my music career alive by doing private events and speaking engagements where I'd incorporate the importance of transitions in your life and how to pivot successfully, weaving that into the talks that I do and backing it up with my performances. So I found a way to kind of like still keep that entertainment itch alive, but I think a lot of athletes go through that, and you hear of it all the times, how the professional quarterback or the professional baseball player at one point ended up being bankrupt or didn't know where to go after his career. And I think it's a thing you don't really think of while you're playing the sport, because your eyes on the prize. You want to get to the next level. You want to be the best you can be. And when that happens, I literally, there's pivotal moments in my life that I remember, several at PBA, several in Mount Olive, as I'm sure, boys, you can remember some in your career. And one of them is the very last out that I've ever played. I was standing on first base, and buddy from Mount Olive was up, Joe Westbrook, and he hit a ground ball, or he struck out curveball in the dirt, and I was on first, and I hit a single the bat before, and I looked at the pitcher when I walked by him. I said, "Thanks, man. You just ended my career," type thing, right? It was kind of that laughing moment, and then I had tears after the game, and you look back on these moments in your life. It's more than just about the game of baseball, and it's hard to see that when you're playing the game, but there's more to it than just the game of baseball, with the people you meet, what you learn along the way. Obviously, I know we could all talk hours on what it's done for us in our personal lives and in our relationships. But the one thing too, we're all kind of blessed with as athletes and loving the game of baseball or whatever sport it is kind of having this like natural ability to live your passion. And I always watch the professional guys on TV now, and if you're in your mid 30s, late 30s, and even early 40s for some guys still throwing it, it's hard to believe these guys have been playing a game their whole lives. They've been literally playing a game their whole lives, and I think it's an absolute blessing to be able to do that. Um, and I say all this because when we're 4 years old and we pick up a ball and we're kids, and you're doing it, and you're some later than others, it's quite a gift to live out your passion without having to find it. And what I've come to realize over the years is not everyone has that. Not everyone has that thing that gets them up in the morning and gets them excited for the day. And so I've kind of weaved my experience with the game on and off the field, and people I've met, the transitions I've made all the way to today, to try to help people find that passion that they may be missing. And of course, it led me to owning an agency out of Ottawa, where we focus primarily on a lot of storytelling, photo and video, and run social media channels for different clients throughout North America. But yeah, in a nutshell, without taking up too much more time, I just think the game of baseball has taught me something pretty special, on and off the field, and it's kind of my mission now to share that with people.
Awesome. Thanks, Dylan. So last question for you guys here. We'll get a little light frivolity into this press conference, and the rider to this one is keep it clean. Please don't go into stories that may be not appropriate for all audiences. So one memory from PBA, or the coaches at PBA, or your teammates at PBA that you remember from your playing days here. We'll go back to Coops.
To keep it kind of PG here, if I give you a side view, I got a big nose on me, and it was a common comedic action. So I got called Toucan Sam, and I believe it was Omar who scheduled it or planned this, but I went up and my walk-up song was follow your nose, like Toucan Sam. So, baseball days, it's always about joking and the camaraderie. So like, I look back on that now, and like, that's vivid. Like, I can remember walking up to the plate, and I'm pretty sure everyone laughing behind me when I turned around, right? So it's always special to have those moments, and I think that's what makes good teams, is having the ability to joke on each other, and it's fine, right?
Awesome. Mike?
Yeah, mine will kind of go, we'll keep it PG. Anybody that's been to PBA or goes to PBA kind of knows about the hill that we have to run. I won't even say it out loud because it's, no matter what language it is, I think it's derogatory. But I remember our first year doing it. You fly down that hill, and then you got to come back up again. And all of a sudden you see all these older guys that are just passing you on the way back up. And you're going, what the heck? What do they know that we don't? Right. So kind of talk to the guys. The second year, you don't fly down the hill. You take your time down the hill. And once you get to the bottom, you save your energy, and that's when you put your time and effort in on the way back up. So I probably was running with Coop, and you just see all these freshmen that come in, and they're flying down the hill, and then you're passing them all on the way back up, and you're just kind of looking at them like, you'll learn one day, buddy. Like there's a method to this madness. But yeah, that's one that I'll even use that with some of my coaching stuff that I continue to do now.
Awesome. All right, Dylan, you must have something, but
yeah.
I got to tease you about something Coach Hub texted you the other day. We don't have time for the whole novel today.
Yeah, I'll gift to the gab, man. Maritimer. There's two things, and coincidentally, they both happened. One was in Lethbridge, and one was in Mount Olive, and they kind of come back to the importance of your coaches and how they do pick you up. And because I remember I was in Lethbridge, and it was nearing the end when I was just about to be recruited to a different. I think it was a D1 school at the time before I got injured. So I got injured, and I played my last year with an injury. But I remember being so down. And actually, Kev, I was staying at your house at the time. I was billeting at your place, and I remember being downstairs in bed. And to keep it PG, I was very comfy under the covers, just down though, not wearing any clothes, just feeling down by myself, just feeling down, man, after this injury. And out of nowhere, Coach Hub comes in, blasts through the door, and very angry and upset. But I look back in a very supporting way. And his whole thing was like, "What? You're gonna cry now that you're injured? Like you got a busted, you did ankle or foot, whatever it was at the time. It was my fifth metatarsal actually." And I remember him saying, "What? You're gonna sit down here and cry?" He was like, "Get your ass to the yard, get there, start working out, be around people. If you want to go D1, like whatever, like let's go. You can go D2 and still have a great career." And I remember in that moment still, I mean, this is what, almost 20 years ago, he picked me up, and I got out of there, and I got to the yard and started lifting, did upper body and felt good again. And it was just that moment where if he didn't bust through that door, I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know where I would have went. And something similar happened in Mount Olive where I was just coming off an injury. And, of course, we're doing our workouts that we do, and everyone knows how they go. And it was kind of like at one point, if you weren't throwing up, you weren't working hard enough. And I just remember it was freezing cold outside, even in North Carolina, and I just finished a lift. And of course, you have to spot your partner on the next one, and just a few minutes in between. And I remember laying down outside the gym in Mount Olive, and Coach Watt came out, and he literally picked me up and just basically looked at me and said, "You better get your ass back in here." And it was those two moments, even from a coaching perspective, where I literally felt like I had nothing left, and I just didn't know how to continue on. And I don't know. It's pretty special, those two moments. I never forgot those.
Thanks. Thanks, guys. Todd, you got anything? Very good. Okay. Thanks, guys. Look forward to seeing you here on January 31st at the banquet, and probably before and after. So that kind of wraps things up, Brent.
No, that's it. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We got a little technical problems, temporary, but we got through it. Thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you and having some great conversations at the Sandman Signature Hotel on the 31st of January for the Lethbridge Celebration of Baseball Banquet and the Prairie Baseball Hall of Fame Awards induction ceremony. So it should be a really good time. Thanks, guys.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you very much. All right. There we go.